First things first, how are you doing? How's your health, first of all?
Dude, it's good. I actually forgot that was in the press notes. Ross and Noah were like, "You gotta,
Right.
like, don't be shy. Like, man, filmmakers are people too, right?" And
Sure, yeah.
yeah. So I have this like crazy surgery coming up at after Stitches, like
Oh, it's still
October
going
30th.
fantastic. Okay,
So
because in the
yeah.
press release it said you were due in just before Fantastic Fest, so it's going to be a
Yeah,
little bit
so
later.
it had to get delayed, right? Like because I had this is so specific, but I have to have open heart surgery. I actually thought
Mm.
I have to have two valves replaced. And originally it was scheduled for 6 weeks before Fantastic Fest, which was like the minimum amount of recovery time. And I thought like, oh, when I go to Fantastic Fest, I'll wear a see-through shirt so you can see like what could be more horror and gnarly than like, a big like, 11-inch like chest scar, like just like chest burster style. Like, but I had a serious respiratory infection and they, about 10 days out, they were like, well, we got to delay it. And I was like, shit, when do I do that? Well, I guess, and I get winded easily, but I was like, I guess we'll do it as soon as I can after Sitges. Like I'll come back and then have it
Uh-huh.
scheduled. So anyway,
I mean, that's crazy because you look a picture of health and and you sound in good spirits. I mean, I can't even imagine how you managed to be not just in good spirits, but to make this movie with all that going on at the same time, man.
well, it's life, man. And ever people are navigating much worse, but I like the reason why I think Noah and Ross, or why it was like, well, don't you are who you are, and you make the choices you make for these reasons, right? And I think Dolly, was like I don't know, an investment in myself, ourselves, like as a father, right? I have two kids. I'm in my mid 40s. You know, who knows what happens next? Well, how can you create something that can it literally can support yourself, right? Like don't be shy, right? Like can literally take care of your family, make earn you a living. And so Dolly was always that, like from its inception, and then it sort of became it revealed itself when it was like, hey, Rod, you got to have the surgery. And I'd been tracking this my whole life. It's not a it wasn't a mystery,
Right.
but now the time is here. And then it was like, not only is the time here, but you got to delay it. Like actually, this is very specific, but I originally delayed it not just because we needed to make the movie, but I needed to get my WGA health insurance, and then the WGA denied my work efforts on this.
Right.
And so I was back to square one. Like, but I was like, this is like, I think someone encouraged me to be more frank about this stuff. Like, because I think people, like, my people go, oh, you're a filmmaker, you made movies. Like, surely you're all, everything's set, right? You have like an agent and managers. And I'm like, no, dude, we're just trying to make our way and we're trying to create
Yeah.
things that are a reflection of who we are and why we are. And also we're trying not to give away the house. Like I want to raise this one on my own as much as possible. So anyway, thank you for asking. Long-winded answer. I'm doing okay. I'll be fine. It's just stressful, whatever. People have far more stressful things in the world than heart surgeries daily. So it's the cross I bear. Yeah.
No, but I mean, a lot of people would just give up when they find when they have news like that, whether it be a filmmaker or a teacher or whatever. They just give up because of the normal pressures of normal life. On top
I'm
of that,
scared shitless. I will
So
say I'm scared.
sure, yeah,
Whatever.
no,
Like
no, I
I don't
appreciate
want
you
to. I
being
don't want
open
to
about it.
bite. Yeah, but people survive heart surgery, open heart surgeries all the time. Like at least it's not an emerg. I don't know. But it's definitely like played a part in why I'm doing the things we're doing, why we've made Dolly in the first place, and why we're trying so hard to ensure Dolly's future, like
Mhm.
with this
Sure.
film and with the franchise generally. So yeah.
So I mean, obviously that because you've got all that going on outside the production, I'm quite curious what it was about this specific production and how you approached it. I imagine was very, very different to like any director, writer, producer would approach it, not just because of your health, but because you wanted to kind of create this new icon at the same time, no?
That is the hope, right? I mean, and it's audacious, right? Like nobody says John Steinbeck doesn't say I'm going to write the next great American novel. He just writes the thing that he can, right? Um, but he writes the thing that he can. Because it speaks to something he's seen in the world or something he's navigated or knows about and has like feels like he's got a reason to talk about it. And I think that like Dolly as a piece of like creative entrepreneurship is trying to, it sounds like, like CEO speak, but like synthesize all the experiences I've had making other things, the type of stories I wish I'd maybe started telling years ago. Like when we first started making movies, that film Here Alone that was at Sitges was more of a practical consideration to solve, to like when people say you haven't made a movie, how do we know you can make a movie? We said, well, we'll make something that's economically viable and conservative and fiscally responsible, right? We can be good stewards of the money we could find. And then that didn't matter at all, right? I think I wish maybe what we done, and I say it didn't matter. It mattered to fans and movie lovers and movie watchers, but the industry was like, "Oh, that's cute." Like who cares? And I was like, "Man, we should have made something crazy, and we should have made something crazy that that was was a product of our experiences and references, or the things that we love about movies and things that like have you know excited us historically, and also you know applied it through the lens of like our own this own creation. Like I do want to create original IP, um and and so Dolly became this thing of like, well, how do we make a movie for no money, and how do we make a movie that I would like to see, and I think hopefully my other friends who love horror movies would like. Really, like, how can I impress them? Can I give them something that they would
Yeah.
like? And that's really where we started. And then takes on a life of its own as it grows from there, but yeah, it's again, it's funny, we're talking about health. It's like we are all we are many things all at once. Like we are all these things all at once, all at the same time. And I think like
Yeah.
part of that is also being okay with saying like, oh, I'm doing these things for these reasons. Like I can't just create indiscriminately. I can't just make something that nobody wants to watch. I have to make something that hopefully people watch, not just because I want to give them the experience of like I had maybe watching something, but I also want to make a living.
Mhm.
Again, I have to. These things are inseparable for me, and I
Sure.
don't know if they are for others, but for me, they are.
Uh-huh. Something that really kind of jumped out at me from the film is the fact that it's got this really kind of grimy first-hand feel to it, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that kind of thing. Kind of really is really imbued there, and it kind of really makes you feel like you're there with those guys in the forest. No, I'm sure that's what you were aiming for. But I'm also curious because you have worked on a lot of true crime documentaries and stuff like that. I'm quite curious if any of that also informed you to kind of to get into sort of how you wanted to tell this story.
My wife has said that I need to tell people that I'm an all genres enthusiast. Like I have worked in documentary and I have made stories that have like like a documentary series and a movie for Netflix that have there's a true crime component, right? The crime is a part of this. The story wouldn't exist certainly without the crime in those situations.
Oh,
I what I will say is I think those stories are about human experience, right? So the crime is something that they're navigating, and the fallout and the aftermath and the duress and the pain and the trauma and the horror of those things. But those films are also portraits of people, right? Like trying to understand someone's, I don't know, reality. And I think that with Dolly, we've got this main character that's very grounded, relatable woman. Um, and through the madness, they remain grounded and relatable, trying to, navigate something that looks fantastical at times, and maybe that's just the way that their brain is parsing out that information to them. I mean, think about like Alice going, down the rabbit hole, right? Is it becomes not real, right? These are like representations under duress, sleep deprivation, pain, horror, like all these things. And so, but as long as we could keep our main character operating rationally and emotionally like we would, then we could go through the fantastical and the absurd. I mean, I think I saw the movie to Amblin a long time ago that was, you know, it, I learned a very valuable lesson in like in selling, writing that movie and selling that movie, that like if the main character, again, if you are grounded and human, they can go through the most insane stuff, but if you just keep coming back to center over and over again, it makes it feel real. I mean, and that to me has like always been an important part of filmmaking, and I hope that is a part of Dolly too, the humanity, our main character's humanity inside of this insane stuff. Again, whether that's Amanda Knox going through a murder trial, it's still a real person. And how do we understand what that's like for that person to be navigating that?
Before I let you go, I cannot not talk about something else that kind of really imbues it with that kind of griminess. Is the fact that I think it's pretty much, I would say, 100% prosthetic effects now that we get to see there, and they get pretty gnarly. I think it's a fellow Brit from over here now that
there's two of them, right?
I know he did the mask. I'm not sure if he did the effects as well. I'm not sure.
Dan Martin is, of course, like a legend, right? Outside of like, I mean, between his work in film and, he has an incredible podcast. Yeah, Dan is the best. Dan made the mask. He and his whole team are responsible for Dolly's mask. All the practical effects are an incredible team from New Jersey, Ashley Thomas and her partner Al, Yellow Moth, and these effects are insane. These practical effects are insane, and you can feel it. You can feel the difference. And of course, everyone talks about this, right? This is not like unique to us. Like whether that's Sam Raimi or Eli Roth, like people I have a reverence for this, and I think, but part of it is like, well, if we let's try, and let's try to make it feel tactile, right? But I will say, there's also an incredible VFX team whose work on this film is indistinguishable. Yeah, there are fantastical moments. You see them at times, but. And this is this man Tim Hendricks and this other VFX artist Adam, who worked on like Everything Everywhere All at Once. There's this merger of these painterly like qualities that feel like pastels, right? Like we really tried to figure out like how we could make sure that the VFX just only support and augment the practical, like so that there's no CGI, there's no whiff of CGI anywhere. But yeah, all the effects are practically. We've just had to augment things, but they're indistinguishable. No, I would be surprised if anyone could tell us where the practical ends and the VFX begins. But man, come on. I mean, to me, I'm sure the internet will now tell me where they found all of them. But yes, I mean, dude, these.
I mean, they're literally. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, obviously, but they are literally jaw dropping, and you know exactly what I'm referring to, I imagine. But they are fantastic. It's so good.
Thank you.
Well, listen, they give me the wrap. So thank you so much for your time. I wish you a massive, huge amount of success for the festivals.
Will you be at Sitges?
All going well. I will be there. Yeah. So if I am, I'll give you a shout and let you know that I'm around.
We'll be there for our screening. So please, if you're there, say hi.
Brilliant. All right. Okay. Well, take care of yourself. I wish you all the best of luck with your health as well. And I hope to speak to you again sometime soon. All right. Take care.
Sir.
Take care then.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
What you think? You can just do whatever you want now? This is still my fucking house!